And what is up, guys? Technicals Tinkers here today, checking in on the 3D print operation. For the uninitiated, I own a business, but I got into 3D printing and I'm seeing if I can make a new business out of it. But I'm learning about 3D printers along the way. So subscribe to the channel, join me in this process, give me some tips and tricks, impart to me all your 3D printing knowledge so I can use it to profit. So what am I working on today? Well, if you've been following the series, you know that I've been trying to do a little reorganization because I have an Elegoo Orange Storm Giga on the way. And if you want to buy anything from Elegoo, use my link in the description below because you're going to buy it anyway. And then I get a commission, I get money. That's a good thing. That works too. Anyway, got the printers where I wanted to get them. If you've been following along, I have Cobra 1, 2, 3, and 4 all set up, all working fine. Having some problems out of Cobra 3, adjusted the sensor down even more, working just fine. That's the second print that it's on. Cobra 4, doing a little concept print. Gonna review that here shortly. Actually, it's Cobra 1 and 2 on the concept prints. That one down there, actually, that's another concept print. Yeah, so I've got concept. Bamboos are quiet because I'm waiting on the discharge chute to print for the P1P. Now, if you saw yesterday, I was printing, see if I can get this out. It's a little tight, beloved. It's a little tight. Anyway, there's the discharge chute. I cut a hole out of the side of it, but I neglected to make it longer. I also need to cut a recess in it for this side panel because I have to scoot this forward and I want the discharge to kind of come down this little slide and exit out the side into a trash can, and I'll have another plate here to guide it in. But when I was tinkering with it, I need it to be longer to get past this bar here, and I kind of want to have a more consistent fall in the slide all along the way, because you can see there the slide is steep and then it just kind of, because this was a bucket, I'm kind of making it to where it's a consistent slide all the way down, and that's what this is. So this is the part that connects to the P1P. The slide goes down and out, and it's a consistent fall all the way down. Smart people among you would probably say, like, it's still going to get stuck in that slide. Yeah, I get it. And barring anything short of a conveyor belt to take the discharge all the way to the garbage can, it's my best attempt right now. It's the best thing I got because I can't have it discharging right into Cobra 3 because that'll screw up, it'll gum up the works. So we'll see how it works out, hopefully good, but I'm anxious to get that going because I've got the new character model that I showed in yesterday's video. I want to get going on the P1P, so that'll probably start tomorrow morning. This one should be finishing up actually, I don't even think I need to let this play out. Yeah, I think I could just stop this. Stop. Because this is a concept for the Colt that I've been working on. Now, yesterday I said I was going to use magnets, but I wanted to attempt something, so let's go take a look. All right, so I've been working on the Colt Python, and yesterday's video I said that I got some magnets. They're still coming. I'm still going to try that out. But me personally, I'm a mechanical fastener kind of guy. I like screws, mechanical fastening. I don't really care for adhesives or, magnets, and earlier used magnets for anything practical before. But there's nothing keeping someone from just pulling it apart, or if it gets bumped or falls off, or someone just nudges it, and then suddenly someone's art print is like destroyed, and then they're blaming me and they want their money back kind of thing. So I like mechanical fastening. I'm still gonna try out the magnets, and someone had a great idea of like how the bamboo spools, it's like a locking ring, fit together. I could just take, one of those bamboo spools off Thingiverse and chop off the locking mechanism, put one side on the barrel, put one side on the main body, and then just snap it together. Again, my only concern there is that it would have to be, there'd have to be like a grade. There'd have to be a, what's the word? Like a screw that kind of has a perpetual threading and not like a snap at the end, because that snap is going to back off the tolerance, and it's going to be like, even a fraction of a millimeter is going to create a gap in the model. And I want the model to be pulled together as much as I possibly can. So I'm going to try a couple different methods. One, this is a section of the middle part of the Colt, and this is a section of the barrel, and didn't really need to print the whole thing. But what I did was I put two little holes in here at 45-degree angles. They're 5 millimeters, so these should fit. Please fit. Yes. So the thinking is that when these mate together, I should have finished printing it. I printed it on the wrong face, I think, or printed it with supports. I don't know. But anyway, the point being is that when they come together, I send along a little screw. Probably maybe I could just send these M4s in and do, I know, that's a great idea. Look at this. See, if I didn't do video, then I wouldn't have these strokes of geniuses. I could probably do a heat set insert. If you know what I could do, I could print the bottom shell layers at like something really stupid heavy, like 15 or something like that. And that way there's plenty of plastic, heavy plastic on the bottom. Do a heat set insert, an M4 threaded insert at that angle. I could just put like, you know, like a pilot hole in there, sink it in. And then when you get the model, when Mr. Customer gets his model, he puts it together and there's a little instruction pamphlet for him to screw this down in, and then somewhere along the way, the heat set insert is in there. I'll probably put a cavity behind it, and that way they can pull it in. Maybe I'll send it in really deep, and that way if they, you know, because people are going to over tighten it. You know, I remember back in the original days of vape, people would tighten down their 510 connections as tight as they get. I'm like, why are you doing that? There's no reason to do that. I don't know why people screw things in so much. I mean, I'm not telling you to get a torque wrench out, but you don't have to kill the thing. Anyway, tangent much? It's Friday. It's Pissed Off Friday. What's up, Pissed Off crew? Tell me what you're pissed off about in the comments below. It's the opposite of gratitude, gang. I'm getting off topic here. That's the point. I'm trying out mechanical fastening. I'm going to try out magnetic fastening. And then maybe I just try out glue fastening. And on this side, I put just 4 little protrusions that, you know, a male and a female end, and they just fit together perfectly. And I send along a little bottle of glue. I mean, I'm charging a few $100 for this thing. I can afford a $1 bottle of a squeezer tube of cyanoacrylate. I'll be like, all right, Mr. Customer, here's your model. Put a dollop here, a dollop there, press these together, leave it alone for an hour, and then come back and you got a perfect model. So I'll probably try it a few different ways. Let me know what you think in the comments below about this idea or any of those other ones, the magnets, the locking ring, what have you. Other things too, the character model that I had kind of shown yesterday is here. So it's obviously not, you know, you can show this. It's, you know, she has clothes on. She's going to the beach, but she's holding a pipe and like a Zippo lighter down here. Those print separately, but got it all painted up. It was pretty easy to paint. I didn't simplify it much, but you can see, I mean, if you really zoom in, you can see there's some, you can see the triangles in there. I think the overall triangle count, yeah, it's like over 500,000 triangles on the model. So, but I like printing it in one go, you know, instead of like printing the head and the body and things like that. So we're gonna hopefully get that going on the P1P here soon. And over here on Cobra 4, I was teasing a little bit. Yes, you can't see that. D20 cubes. If you've been with me for a while, you know I've been trying D20 cubes nonstop. They're loaded with problems, but I think I have a solution, and it's gonna not only work, but allow me to print them even bigger. So hopeful on that. We'll see how that turns out. I think it'll be done probably by tomorrow morning when I film the second half of this video. Speaking of which, this is the point in the video where I kick it over to my future self tomorrow morning to see how it all worked out. And it is the next morning, Saturday. It's pretty early, so we're gonna check in and see what came out. Had a few different things sort of happen throughout the night. So down here on Cobra 3, this is, oh man, this is our like, well, it's originally from the discharge catcher for the P1P because it's up there and I don't want it discharging down into Cobra 3. And so I'm trying to make a discharge chute to bring it over here to a garbage can. So I took the model that was available and made it into this unholy abomination of chutes and ladders to try to get it to come out. So obviously, you know, right off the rip, you're saying that's not going to work, and I agree. But let's see if it fits anyway. So here's the existing one. This one I modified as well to like dump out, but it doesn't bring it out far enough. So Matt, just move the fucking printer. All right, so here's, oh my God, what have I done? This is the fun part. So here's my chutes and ladders thing with its little slide, its little discharge chute to bring things out into the garbage can. Now, when I was kind of looking at it later, because I did it kind of quick, I was like, this is not going to work because this is not enough of a fall for the discharge to, you know, kind of roll down. They're not balls. And so, you know, they're going to get stuck here, and then more and more is going to collect, and then eventually it's just going to back up and start falling down here. So that's not going to work. So someone, very nice person, sent me another discharge chute. This one with magnets clips onto the back, and you just attach a 2.5-inch duct or you know, flexible conduit, I don't even know what you call them, to it, and then you lead it down to the garbage can. So that's what I'm going to use. I don't know if the magnets I have are going to fit that, but if not, I'll find a way to get it on there. I might even use PVC. Well, I guess I shouldn't use PVC. In case it does clog up, I want to be able to get at it. But that's what I'm going to use there. So hopefully I can get that done today. Down here on Cobra 4, you remember the D20 cubes? It's having all these problems with them being able to print. And so what I did was I went back to the original file, which is, I didn't design. It's an attribution file on Thingiverse. And there's several different types of the model itself. One being where it's cut in half, because this model in particular was meant to have electronics inside of it. And so I thought, what if I take these two halves that are not split like, just equally down the middle and fit them together? So let's take a look at that. All right, so pull the supports off. These two halves, like I said, it's not split down the middle, it's split along the seam, and that allows me to place it up like so, which means I can print it significantly larger than I was printing the other models. So again, it was like set up for electronics. I had to go through and fill in some areas that had like speaker holes, and when you do it together like this, it comes right together, right along the seam. Now, obviously when I glue this together, there'll be a seam, a visible seam, but at least it's along like the seam in the model to where it's not as sort of visible, if you're actually using this. Furthermore, these, standoffs here fit in. I could probably just take this and mirror, I guess it just failed right there for some reason, and put it together like so. So I'm very encouraged by this, because previously the failure point I was having is when I was stacking the model like so, these sharp overhangs, the numbers would almost always fail. But doing it this way means that the overhangs are never as sharp. I'm not going to encounter that. So very optimistic there. I think I've got maybe like my final solution on D20 cubes. So I think what I'm going to do is clear off these beds and get 1/2 each going. I'll probably tinker with the settings a little more. 1/2 each going on each of the Cobras to print a giant version of this and see if that works out. Something special on the Soval. Let's take this in the office and see what it is. But before that, I wanted to thank again everybody, all the new people coming in and joining the channel, and all the people who've been suggesting to me different design software, because I use Tinkercad and it's obviously not very feature rich. I need to graduate into something a little better. But I was doing more research on it. I was really trying to use Fusion 360. And then I was kind of becoming educated in like the parametric modeling versus direct modeling, which Tinkercad is direct. And someone had suggested plasticity previously. And I just kind of looked at it quickly, and I like Plasticity's model where you just buy the software. There's no like upgrade fees or monthly subscription, which everything's a monthly subscription now. Plasticity's direct, and I think, kind of looking at some of the videos on it, I think it's probably more in line with my design style, because it's not often that I'm needing to go back and change settings on models that I do that would just kind of work their way up the tree. I understand that's convenient. I understand if you're an engineer how that might be very useful. I understand it's like the industry accepted way to do it, but for my brain works much better with direct modeling, because in Tinkercad, usually when I make a shape, it's as a result of me taking a block and then taking, hollow sections and deleting everything that I don't want. It's kind of like, someone once told me sculpting is just taking a ball of clay and then taking away everything that doesn't look like what exactly you're wanting to do. And I kind of approach design in a similar manner. So I think I might try out Plasticity. If you're aware of another direct modeling tool software, or maybe even a parametric modeling software that's like super duper, just user friendly, easy to use, let me know in the comments below, because again, trying to stab at Fusion 360, I was trying to make just very simple shapes, and it's just so in depth of, sketching it out and then extruding it, and then, trying to incorporate the other elements of, the model to make these, not even complex shapes, simple shapes. It's just so many steps, and it's like, I understand once you have the theory down, it's probably pretty easy to do, but I'm looking for something that's a little bit quicker to do, and also something that will allow me to import complex STLs, you know, the fair use STLs, things like that, and for me to kind of bolt on the things that I need. So keep the suggestions coming, but I think plasticity might end up being a winner. And then finally, my next billion-dollar idea, the square by Stinkers. Actually, it is a topographic map, and I'm sure that if you're in a 3D printing space, you've seen other people do these before. And if you've been following the channel, you know, like my hope with this is to generate sales, to scale this up, you know, to what degree, I don't know. But I want to try everything in 3D printing. So when I see something that people are 3D printing, you know, I want to investigate it. Like, you know, is that a viable option? Is that, you know, a potential niche? Giant art models, functional prints, things for crypto mining, et cetera, et cetera. And so I've known about this for a while. And like, it was like a couple years ago, I was looking to buy like 100 acres. And so I was looking at land, you know, out in God's country. And I've always thought, like, you know, maybe it'd be great if I had a LiDAR scanning drone I could send over the land and look at the topography, because when I was buying land, I was really interested in water and the flow of water. And so, you know, that was kind of like my first experience with that. Now, LiDAR scanning ground drones they're buku bucks. So, you know, that's probably not in the cards, but as an option for people who maybe want to do survey property, real estate professionals, you know, that are trying to sell big tracts of land, or people who, like me, you know, just want to know about their property. Maybe they're doing some building, or they just kind of want to see it visually and kind of know people. I was really into MMOs. I was really into city builders, things like that, video games, you know, kind of throughout back in the day. And, you know, if I do get into those kind of games, it's usually that type. And so I'm obsessed with that top-down, God's view, omniscient third-person sort of view. And when I can get a view of that, like in real life, and see it like, wow, you know, I could put this here, this here, this here. It's very appealing to me, and I imagine it's appealing to a lot of other people too. So I saw a TikTok that came up, showed me how to do it, and I think I might do a dedicated video on it. I think it might get a lot of views. I'm sure there are other videos that do it, but maybe I can make it a little more concise. But this is my property. Not all of it, obviously, because I pulled this data off the USGS, and it only can go down so far. They're not scanning every square inch of ground in the United States. And so this is about as close in as I can get it. And I mean, this is not going to give away my position. My house is, let's see, right here. So obviously this is like the giant area around me. For illustrative purposes, if you zoom in here, there's a neighborhood across the street. I live on farmland, a zoned farmland, but across the street, some idiot approved a neighborhood. And they're always throwing garbage in my yard, and I just want to, anyway, tangent. So this is a neighborhood across the street for scale. So these would be like, you know, neighborhood roads, and that would be, I suppose, like the size of a parcel or a house. And so that kind of gives you an idea of the scale. And then my property is so kind of right along this line here. I don't know what this line really indicates, because that's my property line, and I've never seen like a big trench there or anything like that. But anyway, it kind of is sort of this right here. So I thought this was super duper cool. I've seen people print it multicolor with their AMS units. Like if they're printing a bigger sort of viewpoint, like of mountains, you know, they'll put snow-capped mountains, water, grass, you know, brown for dirt, things like that, and sell them for like, you know, 50, 60, 70 bucks. I'm like, you know, that's a great idea, because if someone just wanted to buy their property, you put it on there on Etsy, you're like, okay, what's your address? And you just pull the data, export it, and put it through. So if you're already familiar with this, let me know in the comments below how you like it, and if there's a better way to get more detail. And if you're unfamiliar with this, let me know if you'd like to see a video on how I was able to do this, because it's just so super cool to me, because this is like a real life thing. This isn't, you know, some giant gun or something. This is like, you know, this is where I live. So I thought that was super duper cool, highly appealing. I'm gonna go show my neighbor. He'll get a kick out of this, and maybe some other people would too. That's the 3D update for today. Let me know what you're working on in the comments below. Enjoy your weekend, and then let me know if you'd like me to do the recap video for tomorrow, or just continue with the vlog style like I do every day. Be sure to like the video, because it's the nice thing to do, and subscribe for more content like this. I'm the Technicals. See you next time.